In the mid-18th century, the islands of Hawaii were a world unto themselves. Lush volcanic lands scattered across the Pacific, divided into rival chiefdoms and steeped in deep tradition. But a prophecy, a comet, and the birth of a child would set into motion a story that forever changed the destiny of these islands. That child would grow into one of history's most remarkable leaders, Kamehameha the Great, the man who unified Hawaii, a child of prophecy. In 1758, King Alapai of Hawaii Island, then often called Hawaii, was unsettled by an omen blazing across the heavens, Halley's Comet. His priests, or kahuna, warned him that the fiery light signaled the birth of a child destined to rise above all chiefs, overthrowing rivals and ruling not just one island, but all of Hawaii. Not long after, the king learned that his niece had given birth to a boy. Alarmed, Alapai feared this infant was the prophesied conqueror. He ordered his men to find and kill the child. Yet fate intervened. The baby was whisked into the mountains, hidden away until he was strong enough to survive. He would later return to the royal court, where his upbringing among warriors earned him the name Kamehameha, meaning the lonely one. Strength and signs of greatness. From a young age, Kamehameha was steeped in martial training. Towering in height and strength, he soon gained a reputation as a formidable fighter. At just 14, he performed an extraordinary feat, lifting the legendary Naha Stone, a sacred boulder said to grant the mana, spiritual power, needed to unite the islands to whoever could move it. Many saw this as proof that the prophecy was real. Though loyal to his uncle, King Kalaniʻopuʻu, Kamehameha's power and mana drew attention. When Captain James Cook, the British explorer, arrived in Hawaii during the Makahiki Festival of 1778, Kamehameha witnessed both the awe and eventual conflict between Hawaiians and Europeans. He saw firsthand the devastating power of foreign firearms, a vision that would shape his future ambitions. The turning point, Cook's death. At first, Cook was mistaken for the god Lono, as his arrival coincided with the harvest festival dedicated to that deity. Hawaiians showered him with gifts and honor, but when Cook returned after the sacred season ended, suspicion and tension replaced reverence. A series of misunderstandings escalated, culminating in Cook's attempt to kidnap King Kalaniʻopuʻu. The move enraged the people. In the ensuing chaos, Cook was killed by Hawaiian warriors. Kamehameha, witnessing the clash, understood something profound. Western weapons gave small groups of men the power to defeat far larger armies. He realized that if the islands remained divided, they would be vulnerable to outsiders. Someone needed to unite Hawaii under one rule. Quietly, Kamehameha resolved to be that leader. War for Hawaii Island. In 1782, King Kalaniʻopuʻu died, leaving his son Kawala'o as heir while entrusting Kamehameha with guardianship of the war god Ku. This symbolic power, combined with Kamehameha's growing prestige, split the chiefs. Civil war broke out between Kawala'o and Kamehameha. In a brutal battle near Kealakekua Bay, Kawala'o was killed, and Kamehameha seized control of much of Hawaii Island. But unification would not come easily. Rival chiefs resisted. For years, bloody skirmishes devastated the land, with victory swinging back and forth. Doubts began to grow. Was Kamehameha truly the destined conqueror if he couldn't even secure his own island? The gods, it seemed, would soon provide an answer. Foreign weapons and allies. In 1790, fate delivered Kamehameha a powerful gift. Two American ships, the Eleanor and the Fair American, arrived in the islands. Tensions led to violence. The crew of the Fair American was slaughtered, save for one survivor, Isaac Davis. Along with another foreigner, John Young, who had been stranded in Hawaii, Davis was spared and eventually became Kamehameha's trusted advisor. From them, Kamehameha learned to master Western muskets and cannons. With these weapons, he transformed his warriors into a force unlike any Hawaii had ever seen. Davis and Young became instrumental in his military campaigns, blending traditional Hawaiian tactics with modern firepower. The Battle of Kepaniwai. Kamehameha's first great test came in 1790 on the island of Maui. Its ruler Kahekili had expanded his domain across multiple islands, leaving his son Kalanikupule to defend Maui. Kamehameha invaded with 5,000 warriors and clashed with Maui's army in the Iao Valley. The fighting raged for days, but when Kamehameha's cannon, operated by Davis and Young, thundered onto the battlefield, the Maui defenders were annihilated. The dead piled so high in the river that it was said the waters dammed with bodies. The battle was remembered as Kepaniwai, the damming of the waters. Though victorious, Kamehameha's march toward unification was stalled when rivals on Hawaii Island rose again. A volcanic eruption devastated their forces, a disaster many interpreted as the goddess Pele's divine favor for Kamehameha. His enemies were weakened, and he soon consolidated power over his home island. March toward unification. By the mid-1790s, only Oahu and Kauai remained outside Kamehameha's control. In 1795, he launched his boldest campaign, the invasion of Oahu. With 10,000 warriors and Western cannons in tow, his army landed at Waikakisi. Waiting for him was Kalanikupule, the son of Kahekili, and his defenders. The armies clashed at the Battle of Nuuanu. Kamehameha's forces pushed the Oahu warriors through the valley toward a towering cliff, the Nuuanu Pali. Trapped, many defenders were forced over the precipice. Hundreds of skulls were later found at its base, grim evidence of the battle's ferocity. Oahu was now his, the last holdout, Kauai. Only Kauai resisted. Twice Kamehameha attempted to invade, but storms and epidemics wrecked his plans. Then, in 1810, King Kaumoali'i of Kauai, recognizing the futility of war, peacefully submitted to Kamehameha. For the first time, the Hawaiian Islands stood united under a single monarch. Legacy of the Lonely One. Kamehameha's reign brought peace after centuries of war. He centralized authority, enacted laws to protect his people, famously the law of the splintered paddle, ensuring safety for civilians in wartime, and encouraged trade with foreign powers. By the time of his death in 1819, Hawaii had emerged as a respected kingdom recognized internationally. Yet Kamehameha's legacy extended beyond politics and war. His unification of Hawaii preserved the islands from being carved apart by rival foreign powers, buying valuable time for Hawaiians to adapt to the rapidly changing world around them. Though the monarchy would ultimately be overthrown by outside interests in 1893, Kamehameha's vision of a united Hawaii remains a cornerstone of Hawaiian identity. Cultural memory. To this day, Kamehameha is celebrated every June 11th, King Kamehameha Day, with parades and lei-draping ceremonies at his statues across the islands. His image endures not only in Hawaiian culture but also far beyond. Famously, even the Japanese manga Dragon Ball borrowed his name for its iconic Kamehameha attack, immortalizing him in global pop culture. But for Hawaiians, his true significance is far deeper. He was the embodiment of prophecy fulfilled, a lonely child who became a warrior, a conqueror, and ultimately the father of a nation. Conclusion. Kamehameha the Great's journey from hunted infant to unifier of Hawaii is one of history's most dramatic tales. His story blends prophecy, warfare, diplomacy, and divine intervention, with an arc that rivals the greatest legends of any culture. Through a mix of personal strength, strategic vision, and the ability to adapt to foreign innovations, he forged a kingdom that stood proudly among the world's monarchies. More than 2 centuries later, the memory of Kamehameha endures, not as a relic of the past, but as a symbol of resilience, unity, and the enduring spirit of the Hawaiian people. And that's the incredible story of Kamehameha the Great, the warrior king who united the Hawaiian Islands and changed history forever. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more epic stories from history, don't forget to hit that like button. It really helps us out. And if you're new here, make sure to subscribe and ring the bell so you never miss another adventure from the past. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.